Okay, it's saying that we are live, I think there, Keith.
Did you see that, Joel? Let me do it again.
Wait, hold on. Very good.
Running in by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Hey, I got something to tell you about that. The hair of the chinny chin chin. I might look a little different. I'll show you in a minute. Hey, Joel, we're running a little late as usual because of who? Who do you think? I got to go get a chair. So I didn't want to start the show without a cup of coffee. So I had to do that. So looks like you're up in the Poconos. Let's do a show.
Why don't we get started? I'll hit the intro. We'll do some sharing, etc., etc. You ready to go?
Get my chair. Grab your coffee. We'll be right back, folks.
All right, here we go.
From the Somerset Studios in Westchester, Pennsylvania, it's Smacked and Jack Live with your co-hosts Keith and Joel Wenderman.
Jack up your income, smacked it in the face. Jack it up, jack it up, jack it up, smacked it in the face. Jack up your income, smacked it.
Just in time.
Boy, I tell you what.
My friend. All right. I'm trying to do a share here. Good morning, whoever's coming in. Good to see everybody today. Let's see if I can get, let's see a couple.
Hey, Tara. Hey, Sophia. Give everybody a hug. Hey, Jim. Brad, what's going on? How's the tooth? We touched on it just briefly last week. Uncle Brad had a run-in with his wife. And I told him, after how many years of marriages, you just say, yes, dear. Yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear. And he didn't listen to me. Boom, right in the kisser. Had a tooth extracted or something like that. That's got to be painful.
Yeah.
Going to or something like that.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, didn't I tell you about something, hair on my chinny chin? First time since before Christmas. Look at this.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
I was afraid because I knew I was going to be balder than I was before.
Yeah, you got bushwhacked.
Yeah, my therapist, my what do you call him? Stylist.
Yes.
Somethingist told me it was probably a longer gap than last year during the shutdown. Because I remember I went to her right before Christmas, and I said, "Could you?" And she was on her way home. It might have been Christmas Eve.
Right.
But I'm not going anywhere. So that was December, and I needed it then because that's why I asked. So it probably hadn't been cut since September. So, yeah, that's all I've been doing in the last 6 months. How about yourself, Joel?
Looks great. All right, let's say good morning, Tara.
Tara's on.
Sophia, good to see you. Jim, good morning. Brad, good morning.
Hey, Patty's on. Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty, good morning. And Brad, much better last week still. Good to hear.
Good, yes. So what have we got going on today, Joel?
I got a little housework I wanted to share with you. Before I do that, though, I want to let you know that tonight, Keith, I actually get my vaccination.
I was going to ask you about that. A guy I work with is a teacher in the Sun Valley School District, and he's going Tuesday, I believe. And I was like, that means Joel must be getting his. So where are you getting it?
So I go down to Morton at the Delaware County Intermediate Unit, which is kind of like the hub for Delaware County.
That's where he's going. Yes.
Yeah. So I get mine tonight at 7:30, and I actually, and I haven't even let my church choir know this yet, but I did ask our substitute organist Steve to play for me tomorrow. Because had it been one of the other shots where the first shot's not so bad, I would have not been too concerned. But the Johnson & Johnson, I had a colleague who said that she was, kind of had the chills and this, that, and the other thing a little while after. So I thought, you know what, tomorrow morning maybe I should have Steve play, and I'll, just lay low for a little bit. So
yeah, good idea. And that was the other thing. He said he was getting the Johnson & Johnson. That's a one-shot deal, so that's great.
Yeah. So, so We're coming out the other end of this, Keith.
Oh. All right, we'll get to that, Myron. Good morning, Myron. That's a good question.
When was the first Smack and Jack explained? You know what, Keith?
Me neither, Myron.
It was about this time, how many years ago, that we had our first Smack and Jack. So we should do one of those. How many years has it been?
Now, are you talking the first show? Because remember we did those interview things.
Right. Well, the first the interview things, and then the first Smack and Jack live is maybe what we.
Smack and Jack live. Okay.
Yeah.
And
how long? Keith?
How long do you think it was?
It's definitely 5 years, I think. Maybe 5 years. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Myron. We'll dig that up.
Yeah, maybe we can put a little montage together of the first days of.
So Keith, I wanted to show you this picture. You have any idea what this might be, Keith?
Well, is it upside right? It is a some kind of a.
You guessed right. This right here is This is the top of my window in Caroline's room. This is the window molding. Okay. This is the window here. This is a window molding. This right here is a bracket to hold on a shade. So like a cellular shade that I put up.
Okay. Yeah.
Notice what I had to add up here.
Now your cursor isn't working, Joe. We don't know what you're
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using the wrong computer. Let's see. Over here. Right there.
Yeah, that looks like it's custom made to fit into that.
Haha.
Did you grind that?
What's that?
Did you grind that yourself?
All right, let me tell you what it is. Just so everybody knows, this is the window here. This is the bracket that holds on my shade. Notice that where the screws are here, there is no possible way I was going to be able to put this bracket up flush against the molding.
Right.
Okay. So what did I do? I created a plaster impression, if you will.
Oh my God.
I took some scrap molding. I filled it in with, I have fiberglass reinforced plaster left over from my porch job. So I created a molding right there. Of course, then I had to let it dry for a week. This is saran wrap or plastic wrap around the piece here so it doesn't stick.
Quick release, yeah.
Yep. So I smoothed it all off. Up here, you can see I kind of cut this a little bit short. But anyway, this is a piece right here that I cut up. I painted them. And that is that piece that you saw right there.
Oh, okay. It's white. It looked like it was chrome to me. Okay. Yeah.
Well, this piece here is chrome.
Yeah. But above the piece above it looked chrome as well.
Okay. So that's the plaster. That's how it looked when I was putting it up.
Okay.
And this is the end result.
Wow, Joel. Boy, I tell you.
So, yeah. So I will be creating a video, how-to video and all that for my Lenderman Shop YouTube channel. But every time I go to put shades, blinds, or whatever on these windows, because of all the molding that they have, it is always an issue.
No kidding.
And I was thinking, obviously I had plenty of time to think about how I was going to do this, but I thought, you know what, how am I going to do this? Because you can't just invert the molding. You just can't take another piece of molding and flip it on top. It doesn't work like that.
No.
So, yeah. So let's see. I think that's all the pictures that I have of Caroline's room. Caroline's room is done. Yes, it is done.
That is correct.
Those shades on both windows are cellular. You just kind of pull them down and you push them back up.
Yeah, I've seen them. They are nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's Joel. That is great. I got to hand it to you. You ought to send that over to Bob Vila or Norm Abram. That's.
Now, I will say you can actually see them right there. I could have maybe sanded them down just a little bit more so they weren't so prominent, but I didn't worry about it too much because we're going to put a valance up across here. You know, those little short things that just kind of hang at the top of the window. So it's going to hide all that anyway. So I wasn't too concerned about it. So
very good, Joel. Now you made enough of that. You just used little pieces. So I guess as you use it, you'll just cut more of that off.
Well, the part that I made was only like 8 inches long, so I've actually used the whole thing.
Okay. Well, you can still.
Yeah, for all the
right
different.
now that you know what you're doing.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Yeah, indeed.
Wow.
So, all right, Keith.
I
let's,
tell you, Monk would be proud of you there, Joel. That's Monk would have done something.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed myself, quite frankly. The fact that those plaster pieces didn't crumble apart.
Yeah.
They really held together. Now, you could probably use wood filler, but I don't think you could use the all-purpose plaster because there's nothing in it to kind of bind it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I think it does need to be a little bit more of a step up for that.
That fiberglass, yeah, the reinforced sounds like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, all right, Keith. If you have nothing left here, let's do a little trip down memory lane, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Over the last year, let's see, COVID, our shutdown started. Let me change my my screen shares here. I had a little issue with screen sharing, so let me do this one.
That was from my time to Camden.
Sorry about that, Brother Keith. All right, so let me go to present here. All right, so March 7th,
Okay.
2020 was our final show together. Can you believe that? At that time, we had a total of 330 total cases in the United States, 17 deaths, 100,000 cases worldwide. But the most important, the highlight of that show, Keith, was your impersonation of Bernie Sanders. So if you don't mind, I'd like to have a look at that particular impersonation of Bernie Sanders. So let's give it a shot. Here we go. We'll go back and recap everything that we need to get finished up, but we'll be out of here. Okay.
And now, Mike and Jack, this day in history.
Can everybody hear that? You turned it
All
down.
right, I got to get a sounding. You know, I've been in this position as Ed McMahon for 4 or 5 years now. I have put $0 into the production, and my campaign promise: I'm going to buy a mixing board. I don't care if this costs me $39. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't care what it costs. America needs this. Smack and Jack needs this. Thank you.
Love it, man. Love it.
On the other hand, you understand? The top 2% of our audience needs a mixing board. Let's get on with the show. Very good.
Where you been keeping that one, man?
I don't know. I just,
Not bad.
Good times, my friend. Good.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So,
from there, I went to host. I watched the inauguration. I did all sorts of things. In the
yeah,
last
you
year.
were really on a tour by that time,
Yes.
right? Okay, so then on March 11th, the WHO declared a pandemic. So we were not doing a show on that particular day, but that's when it was declared.
And that's not the Who, the acclaimed British band from the 60s and 70s. That's the World Health Organization, which they got it all wrong last year. But we'll maybe get back to that because maybe we're going to get to that. So go ahead, Joel.
Okay. So March 19th, 2020, 200,000 cases worldwide. And that was, Keith, our very first Wednesday night show. That's when we were incorporating Zoom. I had to kind of program that into our platform that we were using at the time.
Right.
And then I think the following week, we actually had guests on that Zoom. And it was really a complete debacle.
Yes.
If you
I
recall.
remember that. Everybody could chime in, and the audio, and yes, it was
Yeah.
quite entertaining. But yes, it didn't work out quite right.
Now, a few weeks later, Keith, on our April 25th, 2020 show, I had shared with you my new medications. If you recall, my doctor prescribed some new medications. So let's take a look at this one as well. Okay, Keith?
All right.
And I'm going to have to move a little bit so I can show everybody what I have here. So maybe some of you have this in your medicine cabinet as well. So let's find out here. All right, so here we go. Here is what my medicine cabinet looks like.
Okay. Yes.
Here we have the Clorox. All right, Clorox right here, and this is an antioxidant to chase the coronavirus away.
Okay.
And sanitize the insides. Okay, so this is like the major medicine right here. The Lysol is to be used like an inhaler mist. It's kind of like a quick on-the-go sanitizer.
Okay. Good.
Typically, you would want to hold that upside down and squirt that right in your face. Okay. These are pods here, as you can see. These are pods. Cascade. These are actually Cascade pods, but Tide pods, Cascade pods are back in action now, so we can take them. We call them the Corona snack packs.
Okay, good. Now, it doesn't have to be brand specific. Any one of those pods will work, correct?
Exactly, right. Over here we have Dawn. Okay, now, do you remember, Keith, way back, mom or dad would say, I'll wash your mouth out with soap and water?
Yes.
You remember that? Well,
yes, I do.
Is actually a thing. We are actually supposed to be doing that, okay? So we can, cleanse ourselves. This is antibacterial.
Right. It does say right on the label antibacterial. So, yeah, we've been...
Exactly. All right. So, and then over here, this is one of my favorites. This is Comet, all right, with bleach. So that'll take care of when I brush my teeth. You remember way back, Keith, when we used to have powder toothpaste?
Yes, exactly. Yep, powder toothpaste. Yep.
It's back right here. Comet. Okay. Put that on. And then in case anything gets bound up on the inside, we have our liquid plumber.
Oh.
In case everything gets bound up, use this. And as you see here, there's a nice little diagram of your insides. That will take care of anything that gets bound up.
You're clogged up at all. Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
So Keith, this is what was prescribed. All right. So that's a little trip down memory lane of the COVID.
Very good, Joe. Very good.
And then here we are a month later. I'm finally getting my shot tomorrow. Unfortunately, there's been 500,000 people who have died to this virus. But talk to our folks. Where are you guys? Are you guys getting your shots?
Not to bring up old administrations, but that actually happened last year, Joel. Just the way you were going through it, it seemed like a skit that you were doing, but that actually happened. Even a year later, I can't believe that's actually, we voted to have somebody of that genius, of that caliber in our main office. But that's America. We need to, we're on the bed. Anywho, hey, Joshua's on. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning,
Josh is our cousin.
How are you?
And Joel, I didn't tell you this yet, but during the summer, we're going to have Josh on the show. Josh is going to, I believe he's starting some kind of animation thing, but he wants to know a little bit about doing the show kind of thing. So we're going to have him on, interview him.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
And he's coming out. Josh is a real cool dude. He's our second cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him for the first time last summer. It must have been a year ago or 2 years ago. He came out and stayed with Dave and Joby for a while. So we'll get to that at some time. But anyway, it's very good to see you, Josh, on the show.
Well,
and
you can talk to the two pros.
Yes. Well, anyway, one of the that's great. Tyra got her vaccines.
Nice.
Hazard animation. That's what
cool.
we're going to be talking about. Okay. Yes. Wow, 2 years ago. Good. That's something how quickly time goes.
All right. So Tara's got her 2 vaccines. That's fantastic. Tara, how did you feel after then? Let's see. Richard, but it's been 2 weeks since the second. It did feel like a weight was lifted when I got the first shot. Yeah. I can imagine that's how most people feel here. Let's see. Jim, I had my first shot on 8 and get my second on the 28th. Okay. And yeah, so it was about a year ago. Yeah. Cool. All right.
I'm gonna have to start looking at. I did read something on our emails at work about 2B or whatever line you're in, but
Yeah.
it was kind of confusing. They say since we're state workers, we're frontline and all that. It's like, well, I work retail. I don't think I'm that important. So, but it seems like a lot of people are starting to get it now. So I'm gonna have to look into it, and I would like to. And we were talking. I was talking about just to other people. I think it's going to be a long time before I don't wear my mask.
Yeah.
I've never been up close and personal. I'm what the people I love. I've always, hey, hug and all that kind of stuff. But people I don't know, I like to be. I've never been a crowd person.
Right.
And when I walk into Wawa, sometimes even now with everybody with a mask on, some of them are too crowded, and so I think I might just keep a mask with me for the foreseeable future when I get into a situation where I'm around people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not quite sure. What I think the CDC is recommending that we obviously now continue wearing. But, I thought about that as well, Keith. As a school teacher, there are years where we have like a third of our kids out with stomach bug or something like that.
Something, yes.
Or the flu.
Right, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I thought, if we had done some of these things over, just in general over the last 50 years or whatever, would it have improved our health? Now, the other thing I'm thinking here, Keith, is once we get to the point where we can take the masks off and kind of be around people, where is our immune system going to be at that point?
You're right.
Is it going to be a big compromise by then? And then, knock on wood, I haven't had the stomach bug in years, even though in school, like kids are out left and right with it. I haven't had it in years. So I'm wondering, once we're back in school, kind of back to normal, am I going to be out with a bug? Am I going to have the flu? All those types of things.
And normally, historically, I've gotten sick every winter.
Yes.
With something, mild or bronchitis or something, it's all because I've got allergies and all that. And it's, I think I'm more, prone to kind of a nasal kind of infection or something like that. But I have not gotten sick literally at all. I mean, I felt a little, sometimes you wake up in the morning, you kind of clogged up.
I think, well, the allergies are still there,
Yeah, but I have not been sick in over a year. So.
Right.
And I'm not doing other than going out to restaurants after work for a beer or something. Like I said, I still sit by myself. So, the only thing I can equate it to is wearing a mask. So,
yeah. And, most other people wearing a mask as well.
Right. Yeah. So, I think I might.
Agree with you. I agree. So let's see. After the second one, I felt tired and a little sick, but the next day I was fine. Well, that's good to hear, Tara.
Yes, very good, Tara.
And Patty, out in public, I agree with you, Keith. Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Joe's on.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. And let's see. I'll probably continue to wear mine during flu season. Yeah. So that's, again, we're kind of figuring this all out as we go here. Folks, if you are getting anything out of this show, anything at all, go ahead and smack the like button. Love the love button. Give a share, shout out, something like that. It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got going on here, Keith. We got through all the really heavy important stuff. Shall we do a little bit of trivia?
Yeah, sure. Let's do some trivia.
We'll do trivia and then jokes. And do we have this day in history?
I'm barely here, Joel.
Okay.
You don't mind? I'm taking this weekend off.
This is the day in history. Got it. All right.
Yes.
So let's do, since we are talking about COVID, let's do a little bit of COVID trivia. Okay. So I believe that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere 8, something like that. And they're all true, false. So my friends at home, if you can type in number 1, number 2, number 3, and let's just see how we do as far as our knowledge on COVID at this particular point, okay? And then we'll come back around and we'll show you all the answers. Let me just mess
that is a good one.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, number one, folks. This is number one. One infected person infects about 2.5 other people. One infected person infects about 2.5 other people. True or false? Number two, patients with COVID-19 can take an anti-inflammatory medicine like ibuprofen, aspirin, or naproxen. I don't know how to say that. Okay, so that's number two. Say it again.
Naproxen.
Naproxen. Thank you. All right.
That's approximately how you say it.
Number three, once infected with the coronavirus, it can take 2 to 14 days to show symptoms. Okay. Number three. Number four, hand sanitizer doesn't kill coronavirus because it's antibacterial, not antiviral. Okay. That's number four. Number five, healthy people should practice social distancing. Number five. Number six, during a shelter-in-place order, my kids can be with the other kids in small groups. All right. Number seven.
All right. Keep going, Joel.
Anyone with COVID-19 symptoms, regardless of their overall health, should seek testing.
I'm sorry, I'm doing a Zoom meeting. Can you give me like 15 minutes?
And let's see, which one is this? I lost track. Is this number 8? A loss of smell or taste is a symptom of COVID-19.
Okay. Come on in for a second.
A loss of smell or taste is a symptom of COVID-19.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but it's okay.
Okay, now.
If you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, you don't have COVID-19. If you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, you don't have COVID-19. Okay. So we'll come back over these. It looks like Keith actually has somebody knocking at his door at this point. So how about we go right into my jokes, and then we'll come back and do our trivia answers. All right, folks. Let's get rid of my screen share here for the moment. Remove. And right now, it is just me, my friends. Just me. So let me do this. Yeah, solo. There we go. Woo-hoo. I'm on solo. All right. Joke number one. Let's see. Do I have my nice. All right. Now, folks, these start out bad and probably get even worse as we go there. All right. Why shouldn't you hang a funny picture on your wall? The plaster might crack up. Number two. What did the light bulb say to the switch? You turn me on.
Shut up!
All right. What has a head and a tail but no body? You have to know this one, right? What has a head and a tail but no body? Answer is a coin. Now, sorry, that was it. All right, that is all for the jokes today, folks. We will put them aside. Whoops, that was from the Jokepedia. All right. Let's get back to our answers from today's trivia. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here, folks, that I went through all of these before so that I could get the correct answers. So I'm just going to switch pages to get to the next answer there, or the correct answers. What do we have there? Thanks, Patty. Always wanted to build up my ego. Just joking there. All right. So let's get over to the answers for today's trivia, all about COVID. And probably by now, a lot of these are, I mean, we probably know most of the answers of these by this time. Okay, so number one, the question was, or the statement was, true or false? One infected person infects about 2.5 other people. The answer to that is yes and true. The current estimate is that one infected person infects about 2.5 other people, and then in turn, they infect, and so on and so on. So you can see how we could get to 100 people very quickly. All right, number 2. Patients with COVID-19 can take anti-inflammatory medicine like ibuprofen, aspirin, and Noxprin, or whatever you call it. The answer is true. There's not enough evidence at this time to say non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications make COVID-19 symptoms worse. You can continue taking them to control a fever. Always check with your doctor first. So that one is true. Once infected with the coronavirus, it can take 2 to 14 days to show symptoms. The answer to that is true. After exposure to the virus, symptoms have shown up as soon as 2 days or as long as 14 days later. The average incubation period is 5 days. Okay. Hand sanitizer doesn't kill coronavirus because it's antibacterial, not antiviral. The answer to that is false, which is why there's been so much a run on the hand sanitizer and so forth. Hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol does kill the coronavirus. The alcohol disrupts the RNA molecules in the virus, preventing it from making copies of itself. Okay. Healthy people should practice social distancing. Obviously, the answer to that is yes, true. Stay home, just kind of stay away from people. And I think we've kind of discovered, at least I have, it doesn't seem to be that difficult to keep your distance between people. Maybe it's just me, but even when you are in a social gathering, I'm sorry, not a social gathering, but when you're among other people, for instance, when I'm in the classroom with other students, it's actually not that difficult as long as, there's an appropriate number of kids there to keep your distance. During a shelter-in-place order, my kids can be with other kids in small groups. The answer to that is false. So follow the guidelines of your local or state authorities. And I know, having 2 girls of my own, that this is really difficult. It's getting more and more difficult. I guess maybe you find a couple friends who kind of adhere to the guidelines as best as they can, and then you're hoping for the best when we're in school and so forth. Anyone with COVID-19 symptoms, regardless of their overall health, should seek testing. The answer to that is false, and essentially because there's just so many people that need to be tested. If you're not sick enough to require that, then let the people who need to be tested get tested. Healthcare workers who have symptoms, we need everyone to be front lines taking care of patients. So, yeah, a loss of smell or taste is a symptom of COVID-19. The answer to that is true. A loss of smell or taste may be a symptom of COVID-19. However, research is still ongoing, and the predominant symptoms remain fever, cough, and shortness of breath. So if you have a fever, especially at this point, get yourself checked out. If you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, you don't have COVID-19. The answer to that is false. Most young patients with coronavirus will be able to hold their breath for much longer than 10 seconds. Many elderly people without the virus can't hold their breath for 10 seconds anyway, right? Keep in mind, there have also been some asymptomatic cases, meaning people who have COVID but don't show any symptoms. Okay. That is it for our little trivia on COVID. Let's see what some of your comments are here, folks. Again, let's see. Actually, I read that 2.5 is the average, but actually there are a few super spreaders and most people don't spread at all. Right. I know what you mean. And again, every person is literally their own person, right? I guess, when we breathe in, breathe out, or we all breathe in like an air column that is different from everybody else. That's why schools have always been kind of a place for, illnesses and so forth. Although I will say my school, I feel very safe because of the air handlers and so forth. But a school versus like an office building per se, for instance, the number of people per square feet in a school is so much greater than the number of square people in per square foot in an office building. And the air column, which is what goes in and out of a body every time you take a breath, is exponential in a building that has a lot of people, such as a school, versus an office building that might only have a few people, maybe per floor or something, even though the actual building itself is the same size. So, all right, my friends, I think that brings us to the end. Thank you for the trivia response. Got a great response there. It looks like, Brother Keith is probably not coming back. And I think maybe we're going to do this anyway, because tomorrow is Keith's birthday. And I have a little slide here, and I have my piano right here. So what we'll need to do is, how about we sing happy birthday, and a little bit later, when Keith is able to get back onto or have a minute, he can go back to the show and he can listen to our singing of happy birthday to him. So let me get my little screen share up here, and I'm not going to tell you how old Brother Keith is, because I'll be quite frank with you right now, I'm not exactly sure I know myself. We all get a little bit lost in how old each other is. I just know that he's older than me, and it will be that way forever. So let me add this to the stream here. Yay! There's Brother Keith. And how about we sing, and then we'll be done. All right, sing with me, folks. Happy birthday to you. Brother Keith. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Little improv there at the end never works out the way I like it, though. Okay, my friends, that is it for today. So thanks for jumping on. Sorry that Keith had to jump off earlier in the show. So next week, we're a little bit in question because I need to be up here at the Mountain House one more time. We really have to get some work done, so I might need to cancel our show for next week. So everybody out there, great job. Joe's saying 58. I'm going to believe you there, brother. So good luck with all your vaccinations. If you don't have one scheduled yet, I hope you are able to get it soon, and we'll get through this, right? We'll kind of get back to normal. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, you deserve a thought of your own. So thank you for being in touch to learn, laugh, and live. We will see you guys next show. All right. Bye-bye.
Jack up your knees, smack that check it out, smack that jack up your knees, smack that jack it up, smack that in the face. Jack up your knees, smack that.